Yo, what's poppin', guys? It's your boy Crooks209 back at you guys with another video, but this one's gonna be a little bit of a different one. I get this question. This is one of the most popular questions amongst the UFC 4 community. How in the hell do you beat Petr Yan? How do you beat somebody that is the most OP guy? I mean, let's just look at his stats real quick. 95 punch speed, 95 punch power. He has 90s in every category in his stand-up. 5-star. His grappling is elite. The only 80 that he has there, the only two 80s that he has here are 87 submissions and 89 clinch striking. Let's look at his health stats. All 90s down the board. Now, you probably ask yourself at one point in time, how in the hell do you beat somebody like Petr Yan? And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, is ways to beat Petr Yan, the most OP guy in UFC 4. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the meaty part of the video. Now, the first thing that goes into beating Petr Yan is your fighter selection. Your fighter selection is very important in being able to beat somebody like Petr Yan. Now, we're gonna go into 3 fighters right here, right now, that can combat Petr Yan's OP stats in a way. Not that they're better than him in terms of their statistics and stuff like that, but they can kind of combat what he likes to do. And one of those is being TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw has the punch power to go toe-to-toe with somebody like Petr Yan. He has the switch stance to be able to chop at those legs of Petr Yan and give Petr problems if you can fight in both stances. His grappling is on point. He has 91 top control, 91 off the back. He does have turning takedowns for both the single leg and the double leg, and his health stats are very, very good as well. He has a 94 chin, 93 body health, and 94 cardio with a 93 recovery. So TJ Dillashaw is a great pick against Petr Yan if you guys are looking to go toe-to-toe with him. Another good person to utilize if you are trying to go toe-to-toe with Petr Yan is Jose Aldo, the man, the myth, the legend. Jose Aldo, very, very good pick against somebody like Petr Yan. 94 punch speed, 93 punch power. His switch stance is not the best, but he has good kick power and good kick speed to chop at those legs. We all know Jose Aldo was known for that for a very, very long time, for chopping people's legs. And as you guys can see, one of Petr Yan's weaknesses is his leg health. It's only a 90. That's still pretty good, but it is one of his weaknesses. So Jose Aldo is a really good person to use in the stand-up. He has good top control as well as good off the back. So if you do take Yan down, you do have the stats kind of knock each other out. They both are kind of basically the same. Yan has 91 and Aldo has 91, so they're basically the same on the ground. So you can hold Petr Yan down with Aldo. I've been able to do it before, so you can do it. His cardio is good. His chin is a 94, so it's really, really solid. His leg health is really good, like I said before, for chopping down a Petr Yan player, and his recovery is solid as well. So he's a very, very good pick against Petr Yan as well as TJ Dillashaw. Now, the third person I wanted to go over, obviously, is Rob Font. Rob Font is a very, very good pick against Petr Yan. You see a lot of elite players in the ESFL using Rob Font against the Petr Yan pick because he does have the longest reach in bantamweight. He has good punch speed, obviously, really good punch speed with 95 punch speed. His punch power is a 92. His accuracy is very good. He has very, very good footwork. His switch stance is higher than Jose Aldo's. So he has a decent enough switch stance to be able to chop the legs if need be, but you don't want to go too heavy on that. He has good top control, so he can also control Petr Yan on the ground. If you're a good grappler, he has solid takedowns. Not the best, but he has solid takedowns. And then his cardio is elite. His chin is a 95, so he can take whatever Petr Yan is dishing out at him. He has decent body health, decent leg health. Like I said, you don't really want to be chopping too heavy with Rob Font against the Yan. And he also has really, really good recovery. Now, with those fighters being said and being out of the way, I know a lot of you guys don't like using the same fighters over and over and over again. So we're going to go into some sleeper picks that you can use against Petr Yan too, for those of you guys that hate using the meta fighters. And the first person we're going to go into is Pedro Munhoz. Pedro Munhoz is a solid sleeper pick against the Petr Yan. And why is that? Because he has 93 punch speed, decent, pretty good. 93 punch power, very good. 94 kick speed and 91 kick power with a decent switch stance. And he has a level 5 calf kick. He has a level 5 rear calf kick and a level 3 lead calf kick. So he can chop at the legs of Petr Yan. So let's go ahead and look at his grappling. His grappling is very, very good. 92 takedown. He has a 92 takedown stat. He does have single leg turning takedowns as well as double leg turning takedowns. He has a 92 top control with 90 off the back. His submissions are very good with 93. He has all 90s in his grappling, so he's a very, very good pick against Petr Yan. He also has that 97 chin stat, so he can take a lot of abuse from Petr Yan, and a 95 recovery, which means that chin is durable, it holds up, and he has high 90s in every single category, so he's a good pick against Petr Yan. The second player that I would recommend is not necessarily a sleeper pick, but one that you really don't see utilized in the bantamweight division that much anymore, and that is Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is a very, very solid pick against Petr Yan as well, because he does have 95 punch power, does have 93 punch speed. His kick power and his kick speed are very, very good. His switch stance leaves a little bit to be desired, but overall his stand-up is very, very good. And we all know his grappling is A1. It's A1. It's the best probably in the bantamweight division. 95 takedown, 95 top control, 90 off the back. Guy's very, very good at striking on the ground as well, as he should be. He's an Olympic level wrestler. 95 cardio, 95 chin health, and 92 body health. But like I said with Rob Font, you don't want to be chopping at the legs of Petr Yan with Henry Cejudo too much, because his leg health stat is just as bad as Petr Yan's. So you don't really want to do that, and he has a solid 92 recovery. Now, the last fighter that I'm going to give you guys, for those of you guys that don't like using the meta fighters, is not really going to surprise you. It's Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean O'Malley is a very, very good pick for those of you guys that love to strike. I repeat again, he's a very, very good pick for those of you guys that want to stand up and be able to go toe-to-toe with Petr Yan. That punch power is 93, punch speed's 93, very, very good. He has 94 footwork with 97 switch stance, so you can chop at Petr Yan's legs with Sean O'Malley. The kick speed's a 95, so his kicks are nice and fast. He has very good calf kicks as well as good leg kicks, and the kick power is a 92. The grappling is kind of where, you struggle. So you don't want to be on the ground against Petr Yan with Sean O'Malley. He's not the best grappler. So definitely want to avoid being on the ground. But the cardio is a 92. The chin is a 92. The body leaves a little bit to be desired. And the leg health is also an 87. So, like I said, you can combat him, but you want to box him a little bit more with Sean O'Malley and utilize kicks sparingly. You want to utilize kicks, but you want to be careful if you're going to be leg kicking him, because Sean O'Malley does not have the best leg health, but he does have a good recovery. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that's how to combat the style of a Petr Yan player. So here we're going to utilize Jose Aldo, and we're going to go up against, we're going to look at how to combat Petr Yan. Now, the biggest thing about Petr Yan is the guy has everything. Like I said, he has everything. Not only stats-wise, but also in game-wise. The guy has a switch kick. He has a good front kick. He has a spinning elbow. He has a Sotogari. He's good on the ground. He's good on the feet. How do you combat that in a fight if you're not using Petr Yan yourself? Now, like I said, part of it goes into who you pick. So if you're using somebody like Aldo, Aldo is a very well-rounded fighter. This is probably the best matchup for Petr Yan, honestly, in my opinion. So if I'm Jose Aldo, if you're going to use Jose Aldo, you want to obviously chop the legs. You want to be careful because Aldo doesn't have the best switch stance, but you do want to chop the legs. And why is that? For those of you guys that are newer to the sport and that don't really know too much about Jose Aldo has some of the best kicks in the damn game. And he has some of the best kicks in the UFC, period. Level 4 calf kick, level 3 lead calf kick. Very, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. His leg kicks are level 5. His lead leg kicks are level 4. So all around, he's good at chopping down somebody like Petr Yan. So if you're going to utilize Jose Aldo, you want to kick the legs of Petr Yan. And you want to mix in the boxing combinations of somebody like Jose Aldo as well. Because look at his boxing combinations. He has level 4 boxing combinations. So he can throw literally almost every single combination, every single boxing combination in UFC 4, he can about throw. I mean, he has all the ones that you're going to need to be able to stand up and box with the Petr Yan. So on top of that, he has good leg kicks. Very, very good at combating a Petr Yan player. But you also want to read what the Petr Yan player is doing. Different players like to do different things when it comes to using Petr Yan. Some people will like to pressure you and pressure box with you. Some people will like to try to grapple with you. They'll try to hit that broken Osotogari trip, which we'll go over in a second, how to stop that, how to prevent that. And some people will just like to come up and knee and elbow spam you, right? They want to knee and elbow spam you. They'll do this. They'll start doing this. They'll start doing that. So you have to pay attention to what your opponent is doing, because they're using an OP player, but on top of that, they're going to employ different strategies. So in order for you to win against a Petr Yan player, you really want to figure out what they're going to do to you in the fight, and then you can plan around that. So for a boxing heavy style, with somebody like Aldo, with Dillashaw, with Rob Font, all of those guys have very, very good boxing combinations. You're gonna have to fight back. You're going to have to engage, get dirty inside the pocket with Petr Yan. You have to gain some respect from him inside the pocket. You're going to want to work those legs when you can. Maybe incorporate adding a leg kick at the end of your combinations. Like maybe just a quick little two-piece like that right there. That starts to chip away at the leg health damage, gets him lower in that block. You're going to want, if you're out here at distance, if your opponent is kind of pressure boxing you, but they're staying out at a distance right here, you're gonna have to do the same thing. You're gonna have to incorporate kicks into combinations. That's a good way to get your opponent to switch stances. And it's like I say, not everybody in the game knows how to fight in southpaw. So you want to test their game knowledge on top of them. You really want to test their game knowledge. That's really what you want to do. They're utilizing Petr Yan for a reason, because he's the best player in the game. But a lot of people don't know how to fight in both stances, so you really want to chop that leg if you're fighting with somebody like Aldo or TJ Dillashaw, if they are pressure boxing you. I'm sorry. If they're going with the knee and elbow spamming, that one's a little more tougher. The knee and elbow spamming with Petr Yan can be a real big problem, because he does, like I said, have that spinning elbow. You want to try to duck and sidestep the knees and duck the elbow or pull the elbow. It's a very, very fast animation, so you have to be careful with this. But you can also take him down if they're starting to spam that. Most people don't like to get taken down when they're knee and elbow spamming, so you can do that. That's a way to combat that knee and elbow style of play with Petr Yan. And the last way that somebody is really going to play with the Petr Yan is they're going to try to make you make reads, which is the hardest style to play against with the Petr Yan. Guys like GOAT, guys like Romero, Zayev, any of those guys, if they're using Petr Yan, they are so damn hard to beat if you are not playing with if you're not mirroring the Petr Yan pick. So with those kind of guys, you're going to need to be on point with your reads, because Petr Yan can get you out of there pretty fast, but you really want to be on point with your strikes. You really want to set up kicks. You really want to make him you really want to make your opponent have to read That's the most important thing with Petr Yan. You want to get them not just coming forward and being a bulldozer like a lot of people like to do with Petr Yan. You really want to stop and make them have to think, get some heavy damage on that lead leg, make them switch stance, make them worry about their leg health, make them worry about the switch kick with Aldo coming out to the body, make them worry about the takedowns with somebody like TJ Dillashaw, make them worry about you closing the jab straight with somebody like Rob Font. Really super important thing to do against Petr Yan if your opponent is fighting in a more tactical aggression type of way. Now, if you're going to be using somebody, if you're going to be using the fighters, the diamond in the rough or lower tier fighters, whatever you really want to say, like we covered, we're going to go into a little bit how to do that as well. So we're going to go back down to bantamweight. For this one, we're going to use Pedro Munoz, and we'll go with Petr Yan. If you're going to be using guys that are not meta fighters as well, like Pedro Munoz, you're going to want to try. Actually, we're gonna use Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is a better example of this because Sean O'Malley kind of is only really good in one area that Petr Yan is good in. He can only really combat him in one area. So we'll go over Sean O'Malley because he is starting to become more of a popular pick. So if you're Sean O'Malley and you're going up against a Petr Yan, really what you want to try to do is you're going to want to try to stay on the outside and play to Sean's strengths, which his strength is going to be, he's taller, obviously. He's longer than Petr Yan. You're going to want to try to keep him at distance with the teep kicks. You want to kick him to the leg as well. You want to work in the nice kicks that Sean O'Malley does have. And you can close the distance with that jab straight that Sean has as well. He has very, very good boxing combinations. I'm going to show you guys again what his boxing combos are. He has level 3 boxing combinations, level 3 kickboxing combinations, and level 4 traditional combinations. His kicks, he has very, very good calf kicks. His leg kicks are very good as well. Level 2, level 3. Not the best with the leg kicks, but they're decent enough to get some good damage off. So with somebody like Sean O'Malley or with somebody like Pedro Munoz, you're going to want to try to play into their strengths, which is their stand-up. And Sean O'Malley in particular, you really want to play into utilizing his range, utilizing his reach against somebody like Petr Yan and chopping at that leg and trying to get him to switch stance into, if they don't feel comfortable switching into southpaw, if they're fighting in southpaw, get them to switch into orthodox and really try to test their game knowledge out. Really, really super important if you're going to be using lower tier fighters. Like, not really lower tier fighters, but fighters like Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley. Now, if you're going to be using somebody like a Henry Cejudo, you're going to want to go grapple heavy. You're going to want to try to shoot for takedowns. You're going to want to try to clinch, which is a lot easier with Henry Cejudo than a lot of people would imagine. Clinch people up, go for the judo throws, go for the clinches up against the cage, different things like that. We'll actually go ahead and look at Henry Cejudo and kind of go over a little bit of a game plan if you're going to be using somebody like Henry Cejudo against Petr Yan. He can be very, very good in the stand-up, but you really want to try to engage Petr Yan in grappling more so than in the stand-up, even though Henry Cejudo does have good power. So what I would recommend you do if you use Henry Cejudo is you need to pressure. You need to pressure inside the pocket with Henry Cejudo. You need to, because you want to get Yan up against the cage about right here. When whoever you're fighting against, Petr Yan, hits the back of this octagon, you immediately shoot for a turning takedown. You need to set this up with the hands. I'm not just saying just spam takedowns now. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying to spam those takedowns. You need to set it up with the hands. But once you see their back hit this cage right here, you're immediately looking for a takedown. You're immediately looking for a takedown because the turning takedowns in this game are very, very tough to read. Henry Cejudo has not only the single leg turning takedowns off of the cage, but he also has the double leg turning takedowns off of the cage, which are two totally different animations. So you really want to utilize turning takedowns off of the cage against a Petr Yan. Now, if you can't do that, you can obviously shoot for the double leg turning takedowns and the single leg turning takedowns. But once again, you have to set them up with your boxing. So you have to be good at striking as well. You can't just be looking to just dive at Petr Yan's legs. He has too good of takedown defense for that. But you want to set it up with the hands and then start to work on your takedowns and start to mix them up. Don't just shoot for single legs and double legs. Clinch him up. Get him thinking. Push him against the cage. Go behind him right there. Take him down with the nice back-sitting takedown. Any way you can get Petr Yan down with Henry Cejudo, definitely do it. Definitely do it. You want to utilize grappling heavy against Petr Yan because that's where Henry Cejudo tends to shine against Petr Yan players. So definitely something that you want to do. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully, some of these tips and some of these ways to combat going up against that I use to combat going up against Petr Yan really help you guys out. If they did, definitely leave a comment in the comment section to let me know how you guys were able to implement some of this stuff into your guys' gameplay, as well as if you guys have any questions or any further questions on how I go about combating a Petr Yan player, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to slap that subscribe button as well as slap that like button. We do drop UFC 4 content on the YouTube channel daily, whether that be streams, videos. Sometimes we do 2 streams of UFC a day and a video of UFC. So we tend to drop a lot of UFC content. So if that's what you enjoy, make sure to slap that subscribe button and slap that like button so that way this video does get thrown into the YouTube algorithm. But until the next video, guys, take it easy, be safe, enjoy the rest of your guys' day, evening, afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. And I will see you guys in the next video, though.